Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. You see the button right there reminding you to subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to click the subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss the latest from the Sooner Surge. I know Jason and Jeremy are doing double trouble every night at 9:30 live, so you do not want to miss that, and you do not want to miss the content that we will be putting out. It's Bedlam Week. It's a big week for the Sooners and really the whole state of Oklahoma and what is most likely the final bedlam for at least a very long time. Anyhow, tonight, first college football playoff poll was released, and for the Sooners, it's looking pretty good after what happened over the past 2 weeks. The loss to Kansas. It's pretty clear their path to the playoff. It's there. They have to have some help on down the road from another team dropping a game or two, but you win and you're in a good spot. Just keep on winning for the Sooners, and they might be able to sneak into this playoff.
Yeah, they are in a good spot. Nine's a great spot, really, from coming off a loss to Kansas. A lot of times you lose this late in the season. You don't start off that high, but they're still 9. That's good. What I thought was very interesting is 3 Big 12 teams at the bottom there that were ranked, and one of them being OSU. That's huge for OU this week, getting to play a ranked team. And if you look at OU's schedule, Hunter, if they beat OSU at ranked 22 and Texas keeps winning, there's automatically teams above Texas that's going to lose. Just because like Ohio State and Michigan play each other, you're going to have maybe Washington, Oregon, maybe one of them fall again. So the hope is OU wins out, and you're playing Texas again in the Big 12 title game ranked at maybe 3 versus 5 or something, 3 versus 6. And can maybe, like you said, squeeze into the playoff. We'll see. They're going to have some help with teams losing. But, guys, not many teams go undefeated in college football. Just it doesn't happen. So look up above you. You're going to have a few teams like Florida State. It's good. I know they're playing good, but to go undefeated, it's not easy.
Yeah, there really hasn't been a team that's looked like great this year. Georgia, their best game of the season came last week without their star player Brock Bowers in the rivalry game against Florida. Michigan, yeah, they beat everyone pretty handily, but come on, there's an investigation going on right now that just keeps getting worse every single day. There you go. You got the shades on. Connor Stallions showing up to a Central Michigan State game, supposedly.
Hey, Hunter, how about
the latest today? And why? Come on, it's Michigan State. We all know what's going on with them. And then Central Michigan. Are you kidding me? Come on now.
What did you think about what they said tonight about Michigan?
That is outrageous. I think it should have been a no comment type of issue. That's me personally. Because they have the comment that was made was it's an NCAA issue, not a CFP issue. It is a CFP issue on the fact of, the integrity of the game is at stake right now, in my opinion. This is if you're a baseball fan, everyone knows a lot of people's feelings on the Houston Astros when they won the World Series in 2017 with all those cheating allegations and nothing was happening from it. Pete Rose, for crying out loud, greatest hitter of all time, not allowed in the Hall of Fame because of gambling. Barry Bonds, greatest home run hitter of all time, not allowed in the Hall of Fame because of steroids, so he technically cheated. And then the Astros, nothing happens there. Now you're looking at Michigan. That scandal that they've done is a million times worse than the Astros because the Astros were really only doing it for their games. Going to other games to do that, you have the servers at Ohio State, all of that. It's just it's unimaginable.
Well, where it's going to come into play is if Michigan beats Ohio State's going to be in an uproar about it, saying that that's the reason why. It's going to be a big issue then. And, hey, I said earlier this week I thought Ohio State would be ranked 1, and they are. And if you go back to the history of the rankings the last few years, Georgia, who's won the last 2 championships, has never been ranked 1 to start the playoff rankings, I don't believe. So they're in the same spot they've always been, and if they keep winning, they're going to be 1. I think, and unless Ohio State runs a table, which I just don't think they're doing, Hunter. I don't think Ohio State can beat Michigan. I know Michigan has this cheating scandal, but I don't think Ohio State can beat them. Michigan's dominated them.
I do think Ohio State will edge it out. But again, it's like, how do you handle a situation like that? Honestly,
I don't know, man. Who do you
because
think?
we've never seen this in college football, a cheating scandal to that magnitude that they go to. Stealing signs is one thing when you're doing it with your eyes, your ears, all of that during the game. It happens all the time. Or watching authorized film. That is perfectly fine. But to send a staffer on a low salary to opposing games, and then you have the whole what happened last year with South Carolina, supposedly, all that, that's just crazy. Worth noting also, not shocked that Michigan was not kind of snubbed in a massive way, and the comments that were made as their athletic director is on the committee this year. So, how that's behind closed doors.
Yeah, there's a few other things that kind of stood out in the rankings to me is that somehow, and the SEC to me is not as strong as it's been, but you got Ole Miss coming in at 10 and Missouri at 12, which I thought was, listen, I think they're both good teams. Are they the 10th and 12th best team in the nation? I don't think so. But looking at it, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look closely at maybe who else you would put there. I don't know right now.
It's the SEC. It just means more. You look from 7 to 12. Only
but
one.
Who would you put there anyway, Hunter?
Yeah, exactly. But only one team from 7 to 12 is a non-SEC school. If you want to include Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah,
and numbers.
And a lot of people are talking about the Texas ranking because they're ranked 2 spots ahead of Oklahoma. They beat Alabama, which they're ranked ahead of. OU beat Texas, who beat Alabama. The OU's behind Alabama and Texas. To me, if you're going to put OU below Texas, you got to put them right below it, but ahead of Alabama.
Yeah,
that was kind of weird.
The biggest issue with it, I think, is because the loss just happened.
That's right.
But at the same time, I agree. I think it's weird because it's always been since the CFP established back in 2014 of head-to-head matchups. That's what we evaluate the most, and you have it right there. Hey. Like you have that head-to-head matchup, but it's working out for OU. Seeing that Kansas is in the rankings now after that upset.
You need Kansas to win out.
And Kansas, I mean, now that Oklahoma State's ranked, they look a whole lot better. Because their 2 losses to the 7th ranked team and 22nd in Oklahoma State. So it's not a big deal for them at all, those 2 losses anymore, because those are 2 ranked opponents. It looks a lot better for OU. Again, you win, another team drops a game in those top 4 of undefeateds, or top 5, I mean. And which one of them is going to lose? Michigan, Ohio State. That may be Michigan's whole thing. Who knows how that turns out. Hopefully there's a decision made before the end of the season.
Won't be. It's an NCAA issue. It won't be.
But come on now.
I'm just saying it won't be.
Yeah, I know. It's just it needs to be made so that people can know what to expect.
I agree.
We're getting to it's tomorrow, championship November. With a situation like what's going on in Michigan, you need to know for the remaining part of the season on how that's going to look.
Yeah, and one thing I know from this, just looking at these standings and just hearing I would say college football talking heads talk, they love them some Oregon, Hunter. And even though they lost to Washington and they have a loss and Washington doesn't, they're almost ahead of Washington.
Yeah,
that's how much they love them. And I'm telling you, if you're an OU fan, the dream scenario for OU, there's only one way you're getting in the playoff. You have to have either Georgia lose before the SEC championship game or Alabama lose another one to eliminate them getting 2 teams. That has to happen. Then you have to have Florida State lose, not win their conference, because the Pac-12 is getting a team. Unless something crazy happens, the Pac-12 is getting a team. So I think that leaves at one spot. Ohio State, Michigan will cancel out. So what you have to have happen is that Florida State, you really need Florida State not win their conference championship.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Pac-12 I could even see a way where you could make the argument for 2 teams in there, because their top 2 teams play each other. There's no divisions there, so there's a good chance we see an undefeated Washington going against an 11-1 Oregon. If that were to happen and Oregon wins it, what do you do? Because the respect for Oregon's there. They love Washington as well. So both of them are going to have a chance. The Pac-12 has looked really good this year. And between those two, I think it is interesting, that whole stretch, like of 5-9. You got 5-6, Washington, who beat Oregon, and then 7-8-9, you have Texas, Bama, OU. And like how there's all those head-to-head matchups there, and they're just one spot away from each other.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. The opening playoff rankings are out, and I don't know about you, Hunter. Give me the 12-team playoff ASAP, okay? I want it ASAP.
Yeah.
And that's not just because I'm an OU fan and they'd still be ranked in the 12. It's because right now, this year especially, 1 through 12, I can't – I mean, who's number 12? Who's ranked number 12? Missouri?
Well, it's Missouri, but in a 12-team playoff, I think it would be Tulane, because somehow Tulane's ranked above Air Force. I was shocked by that one.
But what I'm saying is there's no any of those games would be great games. So that's why I'm ready for that. I'd like to see some great games. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like Hunter said earlier, we got a lot of content coming your way for Bedlam Week. And guys, for the last few days, we've been moaning in our sorrows over this OU loss to Kansas. But look up, guys. It's November 1st. OU's ranked number 9 in the college football playoffs, the first rankings. That's a great thing if you're an OU fan coming from last year's 6 and 7. Let's go turn it around, dominate OSU, and see where your cards fall. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And until next time, guys, Boomer.